right, we're going to talk about how to complete an assessment plan correctly. If you come to the website, dslassessment.utk.edu, and you hit Campus Labs, Planning is the module where we will record our assessment plans. There is a lot of information here for you, so feel free to utilize these resources as well. But we're going to go ahead and link to the planning module. You will need to authenticate, most likely. I've already done that, so I'm not going to need to go through that process for this video. First thing you always do is check your annual cycle. I am going to use the 18-19 for my example, but make sure that you put yours in the correct. Also, the annual reporting plan is where we will find this. I'm going to go down to Student Life. My office is in Administrative Services, Assessment, and Strategic Initiatives. Okay, when you get to the room, remember I refer to these as different rooms. So when you're in the annual reporting room, you will come over here to Plan Item, and this is where you will be able to populate a new assessment plan form. But I'm going to go ahead and go into the Assessment Symposium as my example. Always rename your title of your plan. So this is Outcome 2, and then the name of it is the Assessment Symposium 2018. I put the start date for when the plan actually took place, the activity, so to speak. If your activity spans an entire cycle and you're recording data for both summer, spring, and fall, make sure that you include that. I copy and paste my mission statement, and then I always put the date of the mission statement's last review. That's very important for SAC-COC to let them know that we are keeping up with reviewing things properly. Okay, so the outcome that I was interested in assessing was Assessment Symposium 2018 participants will find both the qualitative and quantitative sessions useful for their work. So we did multiple sessions, but these two were the ones that I was really honing in on. I wanted learning to take place, so that's the outcome type. And this aligned with our faculty and staff priority for the university, and then also the infrastructure and resources priority for the division. Specifically 3.1. The target audience would be the attendees of my symposium, nice and simple. Timeline would have been during the spring 2018 semester. We held a symposium for a half day, and this is where we were focusing data collection. The action steps, again, quite simple. This is to allow someone that maybe comes in behind you to know what steps you took and how this assessment process worked. So we have participants coming to the symposium. They would be completing a survey, and those results would be analyzed and utilized for planning future symposiums. My instrument, I went ahead and linked that, which is the link of a PDF. You can also link the survey specifically from baseline, so there are multiple ways to do that. And this is so that we can always go back and look at the types of questions that were asked. So, how do I know the symposium would be a success? 90% of the participants will find both sessions useful for their work. So I worded my questions in the survey in such a way that I would be able to walk away with this knowledge. So once I complete that, that's phase 1 is complete. That phase 1 should be done in the month of July before ever collecting data. So we want to know how we're going to carry out our assessment. We want to know with whom we're going to do that. We want to make sure that our instrument has already gone through the survey protocol process, which there'll be another video on the survey protocol process later. You can find that on the website under Assessment and Surveys. But when we come to the baseline results and report, this is going to be after the data is collected. So once the survey has closed and we have reviewed our data, this is now the process. And we want to do this within about 2 weeks of data collection because we want to make sure that we are utilizing the data in real time, informing the decisions that we make while everything is fresh. So the symposium just took place. I opened the survey. I closed the survey. I want to go ahead and dig into that data while my memory and recollection of that event is fresh on my mind. If I try to wait and do that 6 months later, this process becomes busy work and it doesn't really inform your decisions moving forward as well as they could. This right here is the link to my survey. Oh, sorry, the baseline results report limitations. So basically, if we have anything here, it's only if it's applicable. So it might be that COVID-19 took place and it caused me to close my survey sooner than I had planned. It might be that there was a glitch in the survey. There are so many things that might limit our results. It might be that we had a very poor response rate. So anything that may have taken place that we could possibly recognize as a limitation to the true statistical significance of the results, this is where we would want to put that. So this right here is the link to my baseline report. So we're going to go ahead and have this attached as well, because SACCOC or any other viewer of this plan needs to be able to see all the data in real time. You may have other documents, so I've provided you the ability to upload many different types of files, just depending on what you need to keep here as a historical repository. You might want to have your agenda attached. You might want to have meeting minutes with a committee about this event. So this is a place for you to keep your records nice and organized. So we're going to analyze the qualitative findings. Now, this is not where you just copy all the qualitative and paste it in here. Absolutely not. You are going to need to go through and analyze that data, possibly code it. You're going to need to highlight those key pieces that really spoke and informed, because the people that are looking at this plan, they need an executive summary of what took place. We've got to assume that they don't have the time or the expertise to go in and really dig into the data. So this is you providing a summary of those really highlighted key notable points or quotes. So I've captured a few of those from my survey results. The analysis of results in the quant area. Again, we don't want to just copy and paste the outcome of every question. We want to really dig in. So I specifically leaned in on the 2 questions applicable to my outcome. And so I have 100% at quantitative usefulness and 94.73 for qualitative usefulness. Now my outcome statement, this is where I simply take my criteria for success, which is a metric embedded into my original outcome statement, and now I just state the facts as they happen. So greater than 90% of the participants found both sessions useful. Now, very important, I needed to put my big N and my little n here. My big N is going to be the number of people that took the survey, completed it, or that I sent it to. The N is going to be how many people answered that question. So I need to be specific about how many actually did that, because maybe not everyone went to both sessions. And so this helps me to kind of see who's answering in this space. The outcome status would be achieved because recall that I needed greater than 90%. And in fact, I did get greater than 90% because of my results, okay? All right, so again, on the outcome statement, repeat your criteria for success with the actual metric achieved. So actually, I am going to, it's possible that I would put a little more detail that greater than 90% of participants found both the qualitative, and I might even want to add in here, qualitative 94.73%, just to be very detailed. And then I might even want to go ahead and add that 100% to the quantitative, just making sure that my numbers are present. So the big N is the number of assessment, how many was the survey sent, and then the little n is how many completed the assessment. So we've had 52 that received the survey, 20 actually answered. And again, I definitely want to put any specific metrics that I can. All right, so we've achieved it, analysis. So this is where I'm providing a rationale for my statement. You know, why was it met? Why was it partially met or not met? It's either met or it's not. The only time you would find it partially met is if you actually had two elements within one outcome, but I always discourage that. If by chance we did meet the over 90% for the quant, but not the qual, that might be a partially met. But again, I try to discourage that when we're writing our outcome statements because I want to keep it nice and simple. Perhaps we had more than one outcome. If we had more than one outcome, one of them was met, the other wasn't, then we could say partially met. But we try to avoid that if at all possible. Actions taken. Now, this is the critical box because the whole reason we went through this assessment process was to discern if we are actually doing the best we can and if we are excelling in all areas of this event, program, or service. So for this symposium, I wanted to know if I was meeting the mark in expectation and need and education about quantitative methodology versus qualitative methodology. So after reviewing my results, and there are going to be some other elements that come in here, so I may even make some notes that go beyond just my outcome statement, because again, this is a historical repository that I want to be able to lean back on when I'm actually planning my next symposium. So the keynote address will start the symposium next year to set the tone. I got that in some of my feedback in the attached results. We will also showcase some assessment work from the Division of Student Life. We will have presenters wearing microphones to ensure accessibility, and we will advertise the sessions and content more clearly. So all of these actions taken are not specific to my outcome because I achieved my outcome with great success, but I learned a lot of new information that I can easily implement to improve this experience and the impact of the symposium on its participants. So I want to go ahead and put that here. Now, linked documents. This might be my new agenda. It might be modified marketing. But anything that's applicable to this is where I would want to record this here again, as much for me when it's time to plan as it is for someone else that may come in and have to plan in my place. So once we've done that, we click phase 2, results reporting complete. We end our cycle. We click read view because we automatically have automatic save. Progress is something that I will do. So when I find that the review is final, a lot of this is used on the academic side of the house. So don't worry about this part. The only thing that you might put if you have access to this feature is ready for review. But if you go to click on this box and you don't have access, then simply ignore it and don't worry about it. So we'll go to the read view now. This is great. This is where you can print and save as a PDF if you would like. So remember, if you want to save it as a PDF, you just come here and save as a PDF. You can print it if you would like to do that as well. I'm going to cancel because I don't want to print it. That was just for your view. But we want to share the item. And the reason we're sharing the item is because all plans, both phase 1 and phase 2, need to be shared with my office, so DSL assessment. So we want to make sure that we share it with DSL assessment. And honestly, I think it would be a great idea to share it with your director or whomever is the lead role of your area and or department. And then you just simply click share plan item. And it tells you up here that it's in progress and it's been shared successfully. Once you've done that, your assessment plan has been completed. Nice and easy. Again, this is just recording what you're already doing and you're doing great work. We just want to be able to share it because I am then able to go in as the administrator of Campus Labs and I'm able to go into student life and I can go into anyone's room and find those plans and share those celebrations with maybe our communications office, senior leadership, and I often get requests from external stakeholders from the Division of Student Life, which I will always contact the owner of the plan, likely the director and or the champion, to make sure that we can be sharing that material out. But you're supposed to have 3 assessment plans per annual cycle. Phase 1 should be completed before data is collected. Ideally, that would be in the month of July with 20-something departments and 3 plans each. That allows me some time and a window to review them and suggest any changes in your survey or your methodology to get you the best results. And then once that data is collected, ideally, when you're reviewing that data within 2 weeks of data collection, you would come back here and you would go ahead and you would discuss the findings. Please make sure to note in the actions taken section, please state what you all have decided to do differently, as opposed to we will discuss this over the summer. If you're going to discuss it over the summer, have an initial conversation while everything is fresh and make some notes about potential changes. And then if you do in fact discuss it over the summer, make sure that you go in and implement or write and record the changes you will be making by that June 30 deadline. Because I know that planning takes place over the summer. So if you could address those 3 areas of these 3 plans by that June 30 deadline, that's ideal, because it's not likely that offices will remember to go back and update these if these conversations happen in July or August. But if they do, please, on behalf of your team and my reporting, make sure that these are accurate as soon as the conversations are had. If you have any other questions about assessment plans, don't forget you can come over here and we have example assessment plan, a walkthrough. I'll be adding this video that we're recording now to this page as well. So any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me or my grad student, dslassessment.utk.edu.